The last time I visited the Philippines was 3 years ago. Nothing has changed much, and even before then when I left for the United States, except for the improved parks, roads, bridges, air, and seaports that greatly speed up mobility. It is a country still with high unemployment, endemic corruptions, and the prevalence of illegal drugs that saw almost 9,000 deaths, mostly small-time users and dealers, with high-profile drug dealers untouched. There is still much to be desired. Life then was tough, but I find it now tougher than ever. These are some of what I experienced. World Eyes brings you any educational knowledge or information around the globe, current or many years ago, that has historical or significant value. It is your eyes to the world. I was going to Kawit, Cavite one afternoon and had to take a jeepney ride to get to my destination. Jeepneys are popular mode of transportation in the Philippines, which have two long parallel seats that accommodate about 14 to 15 passengers. Then somewhere along the road as we were traveling, two kids, maybe 7 or 8 years old, got inside the jeepney not as passengers but using the vehicle as their toy. One of the kids sat on the stepwell, maneuvered a toy wheel with his foot. This is dangerous indeed. Kids making use of a moving vehicle as toy to play with, not having the slightest idea it could hurt, injure, or even kill them. On another instance, while waiting for a tricycle ride to get me to a house in a subdivision in Dasmariñas, Cavite, a commotion happened inside one of the convenience stores on the sidewalk where tricycles pick up passengers. A frail and skinny woman, about in her late 60s, suddenly collapsed inside the bathroom of her store. Customers didn't know what to do. It was only when the people realized she was really in trouble did one of them took a bold step, got her out of the bathroom. She was dead weight when carried out of the store despite her small body frame. They were arguing whether to bring her to the nearest hospital or just to the barangay hall where a community leader will decide on what to do with her. A consensus appeared that if she is brought to the hospital, there is the likely chance she will be refused medical assistance as she may not have the money to pay right there and then. A sad reality of the healthcare system in the country. The exchanges of what to do with her went on and on until it appeared the woman could have already passed out. That's when a police car happened to pass by, but it may have been too late too soon. As some of you may not be aware, the Philippines is in the Pacific Typhoon Belt and thus it is visited by at least 20 tropical typhoons yearly. It was not surprising then when I traveled to Zambales to do a vlog there. It had been hit by a strong storm. The storm was raging all night, and so when I woke up the next morning, even before I could have my morning coffee to perk me up, I was confronted with loud voices outside, rattled of what just happened right before them. To my amazement, a nipa hat made of strong and heavy bamboo gave way to the strong force of the storm. It turned upside down, falling under the support of loose sands that had been softened by continuous heavy pouring rains. Luckily, the guy inside the hut came out unharmed and scratch-free with only her personal belongings drenched in rain and from the tiny grains of sand that got into the house. On another occasion, I got a call from one of my schoolmates in college who I happened to be a godfather to one of his children, relaying to me that one of our friends had died. He asked me if I could pay our common friend a visit during the wake, which I did. He was Ed Tablan, a contemporary during the first quarter storm who had never wavered in his principle and had died a true comrade. He died of an illness sustained during his workaholic days. I went to his wake, paid my last respects to him. So, anong kinamatay niya?
Internal, komplikasyon na eh.
Ba't meron ba siyang sakit?
Yeah, noong August 27, nagkaroon siya ng, na-found out nila na meron siyang pneumonia and liver cirrhosis.
At talaga?
Ha?
Talaga liver cirrhosis?
Yeah.
As if the passing away of a friend is not enough for me, another good friend who I was hoping to meet during my stay in the country had succumbed to untimely death, not by natural illness, but by an assassin's bullets aimed to silence him for good. Almost everyone glued to Facebook or YouTube is familiar with Percy Lapid of Lapid Fire. He was a hard-hitting, no-nonsense commentator who had the guts to call out those government officials who have been remiss in their jobs or have been enriching themselves with the people's money that were supposed to be spent for their welfare. A truism that corruptions are endemic in this country and is in fact a way of life already.
Walang preno kung bumatikos. Malalim at makatwirang komentaryo. Mag-ingat ang mga politikong gumagawa ng kalokohan at baka kayo ay tamaan ng Lapid Fire!
I would not call it a premonition or something might occur to him when I watched his several programs on YouTube while I was in the country. But I just happened to realize how vulnerable he was in his studio. Should anyone try to hurt him, much more take his life right there and then. And it did happen as he was entering a gated compound in Las Piñas where he was broadcasting his commentaries. A riding in tandem, guys in motorcycle shot him point blank in the head, so he would not live even a single day. He is the second journalist killed under the Marcos administration and the 197 one to be killed since 1986, most of them coming from the ranks of broadcasting or from the provincial press, which goes to show that journalists in the Philippines are not safe performing their jobs. Meanwhile, life in the Philippines remains tough. Filipinos continue searching for jobs abroad that they could hardly find at home or the lack of available good-paying jobs. The so-called overseas contract workers are sacrificing from the effects of family separation that oftentimes lead to broken homes by going to foreign lands to work, leaving family behind. While the people they elected, who should be crafting laws, treaties, and agreements that would create more jobs or employment and make them stay with their families, are instead enriching themselves once elected to their positions. Finding a job in the Philippines is pretty hard. Living a life is much harder. And it is getting tougher every single day. I know how it is to live in this country. I was born here. And that's for now, for Word Eyes. Stay tuned on my next vlog. And don't forget to subscribe, please. Thank you.